Hey there, Twitch. This is Domog. How you guys doing? It's a little late for me right now. It's about 11:30 at night. I'm on the East Coast. It's 11:30 Eastern time. Um, but that's okay. I've been working on some Twitch stuff and trying to get as much done as I can with it. I'm trying to work on a new stinger, new graphics and stuff. But enough about that. So did you guys catch the tournament that was last night? Um, Last night there was a Dreamhack Beyond fighting game tournament. They're doing several for different games. They all have cash prizes. This one had a pool of $1,000 divvied up against top 8 finishers. And excuse me, I was in that tournament. And I'm very surprised. I did very well. Um, Not much I could say really. I'm very surprised. I'm very thankful that Alex Jabali ran that tournament. It went very smoothly, honestly. There were a couple hiccups here and there. Like, I know myself included, and like a few other people had trouble connecting to their opponents, but it wasn't all done in one room. The only the only people that shared a room were the people that were getting streamed, but it was very good. I'll tell you right now, I finished fifth place, and there were something like there weren't 64 entrants. I think it was capped at 64, but I think it was something like 49 entrants or something. Um, Again, the cash prize was $1,000 divided amongst the top 8 players. Um, because I finished in fifth place, it pays out $60, I think, which is pretty. It's something. It's something, especially for a tournament that was free, no entry involved. Um, it's kind of tough because there were certain players that weren't in the tournament. Like certain top players in the country weren't in the tournament, like Tricky, Shidosha. They were both doing commentary, so they weren't allowed to play. Adam Yuki was not there. Um, Jacko was not there. I didn't see a few others. Like I saw Black General was in there, Rod Nuts was in there, Gentleman Thief was in there, Denkai, Chief Flash, um, Pretty Boy Jackal, Black Star, Black Belt Spartan. Um, who else was in there? There were quite a bit of people. Again, like 49 entrants, but I'm kind of rambling right now. Um, I should probably take a drink. My mouth is really dry. But yeah, I recorded my matches offline. Like I recorded my matches through the it wasn't offline, but it was through my capture device. I recorded them locally. I didn't stream the event because I didn't want to run the risk of adding latency to the connection because as we know this net code in Ultimate Showdown is not very strong. It's it's got a lot of problems, and I know really I only had one match where I was like feeling latency, like really bad lag. And when I tell you my opponents, I think you'll guess which one it is, but um honestly, for the most part everything else was fine. There were a couple hiccups here and there, but I saw the most against one opponent, but it wasn't unplayable. It was just hitting harder, a little bit harder than every other match. So I have my window open here, and just to make sure it's still capturing, yeah, it's still there. All right, so I have it paused right here. My first match was supposed to be against Kowtow Robinson, but unfortunately he was running late at his work, I believe, and he ended up missing the cutoff for checking in, so he was disqualified. In fact, there were a ton of participants that were supposed to play in that, and they missed their check-in time, and a lot of them got disqualified like right off the bat. So it was I think there was something like I I don't want to say it was like half of the people getting eliminated, but it was almost half, and it was crazy. Um, but that's the thing; you had to check in on the Smash GG page. But my first match ended up being against Radio Bread. Lars God on PlayStation. He does play Leon a little bit. I know his main is Vanessa, at least from what I've seen. I've seen him mostly play Vanessa. They actually won. They won a bi-weekly tournament hosted by the GVN Fight Club Hubs. I believe they ended up beating Bannock as well to get that win, which is crazy. Bannock is a top 4 player in the country easily. But my first match was against them, and I was pretty nervous because I never played them before, but I was hoping I could kind of sneak out something against them and see what happens. I was feeling pretty good, honestly. Like, I just wanted to throw out just as much as I could and see what happens. So my first match against him was trying to feel out the connection, seeing what I could get away with. So that was a missed input, that jump. But I noticed early on that Lars God is going for... They'll go for the odd poke here and there, and then they'll go for throws. So I'm kind of applying the Leon blender right now. I stopped the combo early because I don't want to... I don't want to beat up the... I don't want to, like... I don't know, I didn't want to be disrespectful. But I also wanted to stay a little bit limber, because this is my first match, and I wanted to make sure I'm warmed up. So that PKP was guaranteed off of that side hit. I'm going to rewind this a little bit. Okay. So, they're going to change this in the next update, but you saw that Spark was a little bit larger than usual. That signifies a counter hit on the side. They're going to change that color in the next update. It's going to be purple instead of blue, because right now the blues are the same color for the normal hit on side and the counter hit on side. The only thing is the counter hit on side is a little bit flashier and a little bit bigger. But they're going to change that completely in the next patch. The counter hit is now going to be purple. So for people without color blindness, for people with they're able to see a full color spectrum, that's good for them. But I hope they do implement something like maybe different textures or something, or a much larger flash that makes it more obvious, like the size of the flash, or maybe the shape of the flash that makes it look like a distinguished from a normal hit and a counter hit. Because people with certain types of color blindness still might not be able to pick it apart. But rambling a little bit, I basically get the counter hit. I get the counter hit on the side, and I'm just far enough away from the wall where PKP staggers her in there. And then when that stagger happens, 9K is essentially guaranteed on mine.
Round 3. Ready?
Go to round 3. Trading blows, get thrown there. So that's another problem I still have that I haven't corrected it too much. I'm working on it though. I am escaping throws more frequently. It's just, I think I have to try to guess when they're happening so I can interrupt them more often, because I don't want to have to rely on the guess of a throw escape unless I have a good read on what they're going to do. As you saw there, I got a throw escape. I was teching forward most of the time for Lars God, Radio Bread. I love the name Radio Bread, by the way. I'll just throw that out there. Yeah, see, I teched that throw. That was a forward throw. Catch them with Leon Shenanigans, the blender. And then I want a serious fight. We go right into the rematch. Alright, so this is game 2.
Round 1. Ready? Go!
I love Radio Bread's poke pressure. Okay, so they blocked the sweep and they didn't get the punish. That sweep is -21. So if Radio Bread's watching this, I mean, they play Leon too, so I'm sure it might have just been a nerves thing or a little bit late on the punish. That's all. I know, because I know Vanessa can launch that from offensive stance. I don't know if she can launch it from defensive stance, but in fact, was he even in offensive? I think he was in offensive. Yeah, he was in offensive. He can launch that with a knee. I'm kind of rambling. So I'm setting up simple pokes. I'm not trying to do anything too crazy. I'm trying not to move too much, though. I know my habits are kicking in, though. Like, sometimes I'll ECDC. So, okay, right there. That's actually good. That's a good point to show off. So he goes for the back. I think it's back? I'm not sure. Okay, so I get caught with the Wild Descending K, which is a rolling, like, capo kick, and it staggers on hit. So I tried to sidestep there, which is not a good... That's not a good response anyway, because they could go for the tackle, and you can't sidestep that. You're going to get grabbed. But it was... So it was the wrong response, what I was trying to do, but it ended up paying off because my input was incorrect anyway. So it wasn't a sidestep, it was instead a jump, because I think I was still breaking stagger with the other buttons. So it ended up doing a jump input instead of a sidestep, which helped because she couldn't grab me, and then I could just counterattack.
Knockout.
That was a wild descending P from jump.
Go.
I go for the 6P, get sidestepped, and that's another problem I have. I have to be careful with just throwing that out. I really should only ever use it for like a hard read. Never a round starter. If they sidestep, they're behind me, and then, oh no, I'm eating a combo. So another thing you're probably going to see a lot is the half circle forward P. I need to come up with more effective ways to get into side turn. It worked a lot in this event, but if it's blocked, it's something like minus 16 or something, or minus 17, or I can't even remember the frames, but it is punishable for sure. 8KK, I can't do that either. Okay, so I knew that knee was punishable. That was something I had to look up because I'm still not totally familiar with the Vanessa matchup. But I tech the throw there. I go for 2KK. Oh, 2KK plus G. That 2KK plus G, I gotta stop doing. That's one of those habits that I just really need to break immediately, because honestly, that'll get me killed. Anybody who plays against me, they usually duck, and they duck that second hit, which is smart, and then they launch punish, which is the right thing to do there. So that's something I really have to cut out of my game. I really can't be doing that. Ideally, I shouldn't be even using that move at all, unless I have a really hard read on a failed evade. But I even then, it's not safe to just throw that out there. I tried going for a wall setup with his full crouch 6P plus K, but he blocked it. Okay, I got the gut collapse off of 6K. Did the 4-6P plus K PP, and I thought Vanessa was going to bump into the wall, and luckily she did. I got the bound, comboed out the rest, and then offensive move into a low poke setup. And that was it. I ended up sending Radio Bread to the loser brackets. So that match was not on stream. 3 of my matches that I played in out of 5, they were on stream. So you could watch them on the VOD from Dreamhack Fighters, like their Twitch channel, Dreamhack Fighters. The next match I'm going to have is against Chief Flash, the best wolf in America. A terrifying player. Super friendly guy, super awesome guy. His wolf scares me though. I did better against him than I thought I would, but he mentioned in the chat after our first game that there were lag problems. and it got people to accuse me of playing on Wi-Fi. And so this whole VOD that I have, this whole recording, this is all going to be on my YouTube. Like, I'm going to upload this raw clip to YouTube. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to censor out the IP address and stuff like that, like the personal information. I'm going to censor that stuff out, but I will upload this in its entirety to YouTube, but it will be unlisted. It'll be unlisted, but I'll post the link when I upload this review to YouTube. Anyway, I just want, because I want to be transparent about my experience with this tournament. Now, most of this VOD is it's just nonsense. It's me watching replays that are on the main menu because I'm not actually doing anything with the game, or I'm just dicking around in practice mode. But for the sake of time, I'm going to skip forward to our match here. It starts at 106. It's okay, so this media player is terrible. I have to actually be having the clip play. Okay, so one problem we did try to play each other, and then the room glitched out, and then neither of us connected to each other. So we both had to leave the room, or he left the room, came back in, and then we played. So this was my match. I will clarify for the sake of this, explanation. At this point in the tournament, this was my last match in the pools, because so there weren't enough people to have an even distribution. So the people that registered earlier were automatically in the next round of the pools. Instead of round 1, they would start off in round 2, and then they would play the winner of somebody in round 1. That's going to happen in tournaments. If you're not familiar with how tournament structures work, that's basically what it is. It's just an uneven distribution of players. So the ones who registered earliest get the advantage of starting in another round for their first games. But anyway, rambling aside, I was starting in round 2, but again, my opponent didn't check in time, and they got disqualified. That stuff happens. It's unfortunate, but I don't think because of his situation with work, it just didn't work out. So then my first actual game was in round 3, and it was a win against Radio Bread. And now this is round 4. This is the last round of pools. No matter what, either of us will, because of the way the tournament was structured, no matter what, we are both going to get into the top 12. There were 2 different pools, but I believe there were 6 players out of each pool. And at this point, no matter what would happen, even if I lost 2-0, like even if I got creamed and demolished, we would both go to the top 12. But one of us would go into the loser brackets. So we'll find out which one that was. But I think, considering who I'm playing against, you guys probably know the answer. This was on stream. This match was actually on stream. So I've played against him before with Jean. I don't think he's ever played against my Leon. So I'm keeping this in mind, and I'm going to make sure that I'm responding to his pokes correctly, because I know there's stuff he just throws out with Wolf. And this is, I don't think, this is probably just him being rusty, because again, he just returned to the game. He was retired for years, and when Ultimate Showdown came out, he came out of retirement. So I've been playing since last year, so I'm pretty fresh. I guess what I'm trying to say is I saw moments where he just let certain strings rip, and I knew how to avoid them or play safe around them. So I'm doing a low setup here. I get him with the side crumple, and honestly, even though I intentionally tried to do a side crumple attack, I didn't expect it to happen like that. I didn't expect it to crumple him. So I kind of panicked and did a crappy little mini combo that wasn't quite efficient. So, my goal for this one was keep the poke simple, keep an eye on his strings, and basically don't throw out 6 PP unless I have a really good reason to do it. So right now, I'm kind of testing what some of my setups can get away with. So there we go. He did 6 P plus K. I figured he was going to do something, so I just took the chance and ducked, and it was the P plus K follow-up, so that allowed me to get a whiff punish out of it. Kind of a whiff punish, I guess. Yeah, so I got the sweep out of that. I don't think that's guaranteed, but I have to test it out. But it still hit him. So I get him with a guard break. Yeah, I got him with the guard break here, I think. Oh no, not a guard break. I just backdash into the 4-4K. I do the P plus K from back turn. Because I was trying to go for that wall setup. And he didn't tech roll, so it backfired. 8P plus K. I do the catch throw. He escapes the throw. That's good. Okay, so there. He went for the string again, and I ducked that one. The half circle back punch. Gets me with the F5. That's a back throw. He catches me with the chop. So I tech down for the ground grab. He does an F5 again. I recover. I block. He's a little late on the chop, which is probably where he was complaining about the lag. His chop was just a hair late, and I was able to block it. I catch him with an 8K. I was trying to combo out of it. He was a little too heavy, so I tried not to panic, and I just hit him with a down attack, and I caught him. So, very surprising result. I think the announcers were very surprised, too. I was surprised. This is Chief Flash. This is the best wolf in America. A very strong player. But I think part of it also was he never played my Leon before, and he was getting acclimated to it. So, there's something he got me with a lot, is the, well, I say a lot. There were like 2 big moments. That was one of them. With the grab into neutral. Okay, so I go for the 2P into the 6-6 KK after that splat move. So I'm also trying to place my Abare well enough to get some of his throw attempts. Oh, he catches me with the 3K plus G. Spaced out my 6K plus G perfectly. And that does essentially whiff punish. Gets me with the screw hook, or whatever it's called. Okay, I tried to tech back there, but he went forward. Or no, I tech forward, he went back. So that was okay. That's another thing I should watch out for, that heavy down attack. But he rolled backwards. Then after, so I didn't do that again for the rest of the set.
To be strong is
I would hit him with the throw like 1 or 2 more times, but I don't do the heavy down attack because he's rolling to the side now. He knows to watch for that. I'm at that stage in my VF career, I guess, where I'm only going to throw that out as a knowledge check. I'm probably not going to do it against players that I know have played Leon recently or know Leon.
round 1. Ready?
But I will throw it out against people that don't have a lot of experience against Leon, as far as I could tell. So I'm getting pretty good luck with my low pokes. So, okay. Now, I don't know what happened there. You guys saw that. I can't even remember if there was a very slight fuzzy. Oh yeah, it was extremely brief. I don't know if I'll be able to slow it down, but it was very brief. I know I attempted to do it, but it didn't look like it came out at first, but then it worked. So I should have teched down, but I don't know what I was thinking. And then I could have teched neutral there. This is going to come from me, you know, improving in the game, because that's a ring awareness thing right there. He had enough room to wall combo, so he goes neutral. And the penalty, there's no real stakes for. I'm gonna rewind it a little bit after this one, but there's no real stakes for him to go do anything else but neutral. If he does neutral and escapes it, I'm still against the wall. So even if he's not plus at that moment, it's still a bad situation for me, because I have to try to snake around him to get out of the wall situation. So he had me either way, but I really should have understood the situation, that because of how far away from the wall I was, that neutral was probably going to be the best choice. That's unfortunate, but again, hopefully that's a learning experience for me, and I'll play that better next time.
Ready, go!
So round 2, I throw the low pokes in again. I get PPP'd out of the air. 3K plus G on recovery because I try to sidestep the wrong direction. So he recovered a little late. I took the chance with the heavy down attack, and I got it. So that was a hard read, just going for it. See, now I tried to get up with a wake-up attack, but he scouted it the entire way and splatted me.
Round 3. Ready,
That experience really paying off. So I see the screw hook, and then I do the 4-3P blender. I do it twice to catch people off guard. That's something that Tim told me about, STL Tim.
knockout.
So I try to move around to bait some sort of movement out of him and throw 3K out. That's been really good for me lately. It's some of the advanced, just some proactive movement on my part. That was a weird recovery situation. My 4.6 kg recovered under his mid wake-up kick. So he does neutral again, catches me again. Instead of doing a pickup, he does the forward grab, the down forward grab. So that was another guess. I delayed it a little bit. Oh man. So it came down to the last hit. I get up with the mid kick, and he ducks it. So he gets hit in the face. And that's I've just tied up rounds now, so it's really down to the wire for this last one. I get hit with the full charge slap. I don't know what that was about, but I catch the 1K counter hit. Oh, I ducked the screw hook again. That was so I'm like, oh, what do I do? I can't space him out because I'm down in health, but he needs one hit and he kills me.
Wrestling is the ultimate sport.
So that was kind of a fun little standoff, and it made the last round really hype, at least to my detriment. But if I played a little bit more confidently in the end, I probably would have survived and somehow sent Chief Flash to losers. But that's Chief Flash. He is, again, the best Wolf player in America. He's a fantastic player. He has tons of years of experience, especially in competitive scenes. And he took advantage of the situation. He took advantage of the moment and prevailed. I have to use that as a bit of a learning experience, though. I think the next time I play against him, he's going to have a better read on how I play, and I'm sure he's gonna counter it in a different way that I've never seen. So, I'm very happy with how I played in that one. Still, there's still some glaring mistakes, but I think it's stuff that I can iron out. So, again, to recap, no matter who won or lost that match, we were both going to go to the top 12. Only the loser would start in the loser brackets, of course. So that's where I head next, is the loser brackets. And my matches, like, so between my first match and my second match, it was almost 40 minutes, like, well, a little over 40 minutes between matches. And then the next one, going into the losers of the top 12, because there are much fewer players, it was like 5 minutes. So we're going to fast forward a little bit to my losers brackets match in the top 12. So it's a 2055. And this was against Pretty Boy Jackal. He plays under the handle Watch the Armory on PS4, because that's their Twitch channel, I believe, the Armory. And that's what their Twitch is called too, Watch the Armory. I think the Armory is their Discord, but in any case, he's a late player. He's been improving a lot over time. I've played him quite a bit in like the first 2 weeks of Ultimate Showdown being out, and he's been getting better and better every time. In fact, when I saw screenshots of his pool, because he was in the first pool, he was in pool 2 and I was in pool 1 or something like that. When he got to the top 12, just looking at some of the people that were in that pool, it was incredible. Like he ended up having to beat Black General to get into the top 12. And I think that's astounding, because Black General is one of the top Akiras in the country. I'm wondering, I would have loved to see that one, because that would have been exciting. It was 2-1 in favor of Pretty Boy Jackal. But I play him here in our first loser match of the top 12. So my brother DJ Kyoto also plays Leifei, so I have somewhat of an understanding of how he works. I'm not totally aware of his frames though. But I know Pretty Boy Jackal, he tries to play a bit of a safer game than most Leifeis that I run into online. He'll still do the Leifei stuff, like as you're seeing right now, because he has to. Leifei, a lot of his pressure comes from the stance switching. So I tried a knowledge check there with the 4-6K plus G. It's plus on block. So I was gonna see if he would press a button, and he did. He ends up taking the round anyway. I'm not even sure why I pointed that out, because it didn't really make a difference, but. So I gotta punish that launcher better. So I tried to shake that stagger, but it just didn't come out. Right now, Jackal has a lot of the momentum, so I'm trying to get back in that. I get the gut collapse, but I don't get a combo. I go for the side collapse, and I don't get it. 3K on backdash, and it back staggers him, but he doesn't shake it, so my 6 PP doesn't hit until the second hit.
Round 4.
So he's up 2 rounds to 1. So right now I'm trying to wait for my moments to counterattack. Like anytime he goes to that stance after those 3-punch string. I don't even know why I tried to do dart punch there. He stayed in Goku. So the 3K just gets him, catches him on wake up. He doesn't guard it. right now I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like I can start putting my pressure on him now. And he's not teching either, so I had to adjust to not just go balls to the wall with my Oki. Alright, so that end was actually pretty intense. So he gets a launcher combo off of me and knocks me within a few hits. I catch him with a lucky 3K, and then I do a backdash into the half circle forward punch. Backdash into 4-3 punch, and I just clip him. I just clip him with it. So I lucked out from that one.
I thought I'm better.
But I have a ton of respect for Pretty Boy Jackal. He certainly plays a more moral Lei than a lot of the Leis that I've run into online.
Round one.
I know that they pretty much have to push buttons because of how their style is. It's just kind of it's kind of a change of pace to see a Lei that's trying to be more structured and safe and moral with their pokes. So I waited for him to do that to kind of like 2P him and then force like a bit of a mix-up. But if he hit me with a low, I probably would have froze up and not blocked it. So I go for the catch grab, and then I do a side turn. That was just an improv combo because I pushed buttons. I missed the combo opportunity there, but I end up elbowing him out of it and saving myself here. So this is match point. That stance again, but he blocks it low, which is smart. He gets out of the stance immediately, blocks low. I just do a random 6-6P. I don't even know why I did that. I figured he hasn't done that roll, so I figured he was going for the, throw. Oh, so I sidestepped and I didn't move because I felt the dash coming, and then I don't actually do anything with it. I could have PKP there, but I didn't. I blocked the launcher, but I don't punish it. And then I get the side collapse off of the side turn, and that really bailed me out. But again, good games to Pretty Boy Jackal. I'm happy that he got to top 12 because he's been grinding and he's been working at his Lei, and it was really cool to play against him in that setting. Now the fun one. Here's the fun one. Let me find the timestamp for it. But all right, so it's at 1:55. All right, so my next losers bracket match was against Black Belt Spartan. Now, I have it in my head that I'm not in top 8 yet. Although mathematically I was. Mathematically I was in top 8. Even if I lost here and my tournament experience ended, I would have been top 8. I would have gotten at least $40. I did not have that in my head. Because I didn't know it. I didn't put the two pieces together. I didn't put the 2 and 2 together. So I'm actually sweating a lot. Now, I've said on this stream before, I'm not a fan of Black Belt Spartan. Look, I will say this. In all fairness, I don't know the man in person. For all I know, and from what I've heard, he's a super awesome guy. And, you know, Spartan, if you do end up watching this somehow, if you do end up watching this, I don't mean to be hostile to you as a person. I think your Lao is super annoying to play against. I think your connection is super inconsistent. I don't know if that's your fault. I really don't. with the history of what I've heard about you during the Virtua Fighter 5 final showdown days, all the rumors and allegations of how you conducted yourself in ranked mode, I figured it carried over. I can't prove that. So I'm not gonna, going forward in tournaments especially, I'm not gonna mention anything about it because I can't prove it. I have no way of proving it, and to be fair, it's kind of a whining type of thing. If I'm just talking about it all the time, it's honestly pathetic because everyone has to deal with it. Everyone has to deal with bad connections. I'm on a wired connection, and I have moments where it's like just shitting the bed. That could be just the netcode, the really poor netcode. But this is the match I ended up running into the most connection issues. In terms of like during the match. But to comment one more time on Spartan, I don't know the man in person. I've never met him before. I heard he was actually a good guy, like a really cool guy. I hope he is, because Spartan, I don't mean anything against you personally. It's just the way your persona online, it's not only irritating to me, but it also scares me, honestly. I'm sure you're going to be very happy to hear that. It's very terrifying playing against your Lao because of it's a factor of a lot of different things. It's a keep away style that I struggle with, and that's something I have to correct. It's the fact that you're throwing out throws at perfect times. Like you've structured your offense in such a way that you know when they're going to stop moving and you throw them. And it's always a different throw. It's always different. So you're putting them in true guess situations where they have to actually do something. And you notice, because it's Lao has a lot of stuff that he's plus on. You've set up your offense in such a way that if you're forcing them to a barre, you're going to knock them out of it. You're just going to keep jabbing them out of it, and you're going to wait for them to stop, and then you're going to throw them again. That is honestly an extremely effective way to play the game. So in terms of that, I'm never going to, it's going to frustrate me. It's going to piss me off. It's going to make me angry. But I think that's what you want, because you'll get in the opponent's head, and then they're no longer playing their game. They're playing your game. And you are probably the best player to play that kind of game. And that there's something to be said about that. There's a reason you're a Stormlord. And it's not because of the connection issues will not get you to Stormlord. It's the fact that you've structured your gameplay like that. So I did want to say that, as frustrated as you make me in this game, I have to give you props because you actually play the game at a very high level. It's crazy. It's crazy, and if you look at it in a vacuum, it shouldn't work, but it does. It seemingly always works until you run into other garbage, which is what I had to play with. So I keep in mind a few things. He's going to space me out. He's going to mix in a lot of mids and lows, and he's going to throw a lot.
Round one.
And some of my weaknesses are closing distance in a safe way. So I get wall comboed immediately. So that's another thing he does too, is he looks for the wall setups. I go 6P. He catches me with jab, and then at that point I don't think I can barre. He gets me with elbow and throws. So I'm like, oh great, here we go again. It's gonna be a throw. It's final throw down. That was terrible. I'm sorry. So I try to just do a round opening attack. I catch him going for the low, and I do the 8K over him to combo. Punishes me with the 6K plus G. That's good. There's a bit of a spike there, but we both felt it. So right now, I see that he's setting up with elbows. He's trying to wear me down with elbows. So I'm trying to 2P out of it after blocking. I try to 2P after that 3K, which is not a good idea. Unless they're a bar A. Like, unless they're, like, doing some bar A with, like, heavy frame startup. He launches me, kicks me out of the ring. It's 2 rounds to 1. I'm struggling. He's catching me with launchers because I'm worried about the throws. So he's catching me with launchers. Now he drops the... Okay, so this is just a matter of positioning. I think he had the right idea, but he expected me to hit the wall, and then when I didn't, it dropped the combo, and it let me get back into it with a little bit of well-timed barre, and I knock him down, and now I'm in control. Or at least I have the edge. So he tries to recenter again. He goes for that, I think it's 1P, I'm not sure. I don't know Lau's commands, but he goes for that attack that staggers if it hits, but it's a special low. It's an EX low, so I can just block it standing up. So I'm pretty sure it's an EX low. If he sees this, he can correct me if I'm wrong. I honestly need to lab Lei a lot more. Or Lau. I need to lab Lau a lot more. Lei too, but mostly Lau. So I get out of the wall pressure situation. I duck under his KK. He hits me with a forward throw. I don't tech it. I go for the low pokes. Okay, that was a lucky guess. I backdash. I backdash into the 4-4K. So let's see if I have any weird movement here. No, I don't. It's just the way the move came out. The move came out a little late, and it caught him in a failed evade state.
Knockout.
So it ends up hitting him and knocking him into the air.
Round 5. Ready?
Then okay. So he's putting on string pressures. He goes for the throw, and I just 1K. I'm just like, okay, this move, it's not. He's not plus after this. I'm thinking to myself after this. Okay, so after I block that, I'm like, okay, I'm not minus here, and it's he's probably gonna go for a throw, so I can do something that can crush highs. I could do something that will duck under a high grab. So I think 1K, which is a nice little panic move that I have. It's not safe because if he blocks low, I'm done. I get launched. But I got lucky with the guess here on 1K because he goes for the grab. So 1K knocks him down. Doesn't combo, but it does knock him down. Elbow into the grab, and then I do a heavy down attack after because he's not rolling. He's not even like particularly getting off the ground fast enough. Okay, so here's another thing that I noticed. So what he's done to me a lot, and I don't know if he does this to anybody else a lot, but he's done this to me a lot. If he sets up a situation where he's gonna elbow and it's gonna force the opponent to go low, if they're instinctively going low, he does 8K plus G or whatever that move is, which is like the looping overhead kick. And then he'll grab after that. He'll try to grab because they're going to block waiting for that second attack, and he's just going to throw them. Sometimes he does vary that up with like a strike just in case they duck or something, or try to duck or do whatever, or like even if they try to a barre. But I got lucky with my 3P because I 3P after the 8K plus G or whatever it is. So after that string, he'll stop it at the second or the third hit. If he sees that I'm blocking, my gut instinct might be to go to 2P. And I think it was here. I think it was to go to 2P. So he catches it with 8K plus G. Or whatever the command is. Yeah, so I 2P. But he catches me with that, and I know his instinct has been to throw me in the past, so I go 3P. I'm just mashing a button. I'm just mashing some sort of button to hit him. I go 6PP. It was a hard read, and it gets him. Oh, and then I honestly was just praying. I was just praying at that point that he went low with a wake-up kick. That's what I was hoping for, and it works out. Tricky was wigging out over this. This game was also on stream, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. My game against Watch the Armory, Pretty Boy Jackal, that was not on stream. This one was on stream. Tricky was going nuts. He was like, what is that combo? I mean, I've done that combo, but I haven't done it lately because my 9P hasn't been very strong. So, game 2, Black Belt Spartan is down. He's going to try to come back here.
Round 1. Ready, go!
He catches me with that, I think it's 4-4P or something. Catches me with, okay, I get swept into the wall, and he gets a mini wall combo. That's actually crazy that Lau gets that. Lau gets that off of a sweep. He gets a wall combo like that off of a sweep. That's pretty nutty.
Ready, go!
So I'm thinking he's going to do some weird short-range poke, and I get him with the 4-4K. Mini wall combo. I could have restood him there, but it didn't work. Gets the wall grab on me. Gets a guaranteed down attack. He tries the 3K to knock, because if that hits me, it knocks me into the wall. So he does that 8K plus G again and does the grab. That was a neutral grab that time. I didn't Abari though, because it hit me.
Round 3.
It hit me, and I think at that point he could just grab me. I sidestep and I wait out the string, and then I hit him with a low. Okay, so that launcher is not PK punishable out of Koke, which I have to learn that frame. That is PK punishable. I knew that. I think he was just smelling blood and he wanted to go for something like big. He wanted to go for like the big finisher. Okay, so I wake up, I get up without an attack because he was probably going to block low. And then when he saw I didn't attack, he just, I'm going to throw you. Very smart. A few characters can do a small combo from sweep at the wall. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Crazy Junk. And thanks for joining the stream, too. I appreciate it. I don't think Leon can, which is why it's weird to me. But I know Pi can. I think Pi can. Lau definitely can. But this was my third game against Spartan. Pretty sure Shun can do that too. I wouldn't be surprised if he could. So my game plan for this one was, okay, I don't want him throwing me again, but he was trying launches. So I have to keep him at bay a little bit. I don't want him to get plus. And I do want to say, this is the worst connection I've had all night. You saw like the little sparks. You saw like the little spikes in the lag. This was the worst one. It was the worst at the start, and then it got a little bit better. See, there was a lag spike there. There was a weird lag spike there and there. Not that that's an excuse, but it's pretty hard to focus on your game plan when stuff like that happens. And I'm sure it hit him too, but it's a matter of like, I'm playing against his Lau, which is already frustrating to handle because he does a lot of things right with it. But also oh, it's Lord Hollow. A challenger comes. Thank you so much for the follow, Lord Hollow. I appreciate it. I came into lag spikes. That's lovely. Thanks, admiring my Harley. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of a recap of my performance from yesterday. I'm pretty surprised. I'm honestly, I said it before, in spite of like my dislike for how Black Belt Spartan plays like online, or like the rumors of like allegations of him with like his shenanigans. I'm scared of him. I'm scared of playing against him, honestly. And you know, if that makes him feel better, then that's great. But his Lau just, okay, so even against like Gentleman Thief, yeah, it's scary, but it's a different kind of scary. It's like, okay, this guy beats up everybody. So it's a matter of he's just so much smarter of a player than I am, and he's not doing anything particularly weird. It's just he knows the game better, and he applies it at lightning speed. But for some reason with Black Belt Spartan, he doesn't do too much with Lao, but and like his ukemi isn't always like he's not always tech rolling. He's not always doing wake up kicks. He's a very simple game, but it always seems to work. And it, even though it's very simple, for whatever reason, it scrambles my brain up. And I guess that's why it scares me so much, because it's in my head. I'm thinking, oh, this is easy. This is easy to deal with. And then it isn't. And then I lose. Then I lose like 3-0. And it's over before I could even think, well, what the fuck just happened? So I think his Lao is uniquely scary to me in that regard. But seeing those lag spikes early on, they were like, okay, I'm done dealing with this. I'm going to space him out at this point. My first game plan was to possibly just scout out his throws, but then my game plan became, no, knock him down and keep him out. Knock him down and keep him out. Because I'm not getting in his face. I'm not getting thrown with these lag spikes. I don't want to deal with this. I have a hard enough time breaking them to begin with. There's some people that tend to have simple but effective game plans. Yeah, and I say, we could say what we want about Spartan, like all the allegations and stuff, but like, he knows what he's doing. He's not a bad player. He really isn't. I will tell you right now, I think he's a very good player. I really do. Genuinely, from the bottom of my clogged artery heart, I think he's a very good player. It's just incredibly frustrating to play against him for a number of reasons, but that I've mentioned before, but still I haven't played VF enough to be involved in this. Yeah, it's okay. There's a legend about this guy, but again, I mentioned earlier in the stream, going forward, I'm not going to talk about it, at least publicly. I'm not going to bring any attention to it because I'm not, even though there were spikes here, they weren't hitting me as hard as they used to. Like, they weren't as apparent as they were. Shin can do a small combo with his full circular sweep with 0 drinks. That's stupid. Yeah, he was that. I think back then, the legend was like a real thing. There was actual weight behind it, actual evidence. Now there are a few videos floating out there, but I'm gonna drop a follow before I go. Enjoy the rest of your stream and review. Thank you so much, Admiring My Harley. Thank you. I'm gonna follow you after this one. There he is, the challenger. Admiring My Harley. Thank you so much. And take care. Have a good night. It's just small for now. Yeah, we'll see. But my game plan, when I saw those spikes, it changed to I'm not getting in his face anymore. I'm knocking him down and I'm keeping him out. So I get lucky there with the elbow, and I'm just beating the dead horse because I'm so angry about the connection. I'm honestly really angry about it. That notification sound is too loud. Ah, crap. I'll turn it down after this. Sorry. It is pretty loud. It's even loud on my computer, so I'll have to work on it. So he closed the range good. Gets the guard break. I sidestep and get a wall stagger, but I don't convert off of it. He sweeps me. I sidestep the wheel kick. I fuzzy the throw, which is surprising. I sidestep the right way out of instinct. It was just the right way. I don't duck the KK. I should have done that, but... So at that point, I'm just hoping to hit him. Just hit him and knock him down and keep him out. And then I'm just going to keep beating him up. Because, again, I don't want to deal with his throws. so he hits me with an elbow there and gets the throw. So that, I was like, okay. And then there, that was cool. Okay, so I avoided his 4-4P or whatever it is. 4-4P plus K or something like that. Whatever the command is. And then I'm like, okay, 3K, because I'm going to collapse him. Okay, that little stutter, I don't think that was a lag spike. I think that was just my recording software. It just skipped a frame or two. Yeah, okay, that was just on my computer. That wasn't anything. Alright. 3K, go for the 6PK. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense then. Thanks. So, at the end there, I knock him down with KK. I just threw it out there. I guard. So, he goes for 8K plus G or whatever that is, that looping overhead kick. And I just 3K because I'm just poking 3K to keep him off of me. But it just happens to knock him into the air because he does the looping kick. So I do 6PP. And then this is a moment where I'm like, okay, he's either going to stay down, or my intention was to go 6-6KK after this, no matter what. Because I'm thinking, because if he stays down, it's going to hit him, and it's likely going to chip him enough to kill him. Or he's going to tech roll. The first kick is going to miss, and the second hit he'll meaty. Or he'll stand up into it. So I just throw out the 6-6KK after the 6PP, and that ends up being it. He recovers, and it hits him as he's getting up. So I'm popping off because I'm so full of adrenaline, and my heart is beating so fast that I actually beat Black Belt Spartan, because I never beat Black Belt Spartan. I'm just doing a pop-off with, like, wave dashes and shit. Box steps backwards. But I catch him with the 6-6KK at the end because he gets up, it stands up into it. But I think that would have been a fine call either way. Maybe I'm mistaken. I'll test it out. But I'm thinking after the 6PP, I was like, okay, it's either going to chip him to death or he's going to stand up into it and get hit anyway. And get counter hit. So honestly, after that, I was like, okay, I'm in the top 8 now. Now, again, I was already in the top 8, but I didn't know it at the time. So I had a lot of pressure in that one. I wanted to win some money. At this point now, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely getting money at this point. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty stoked on that. I was so stoked that I didn't quite do anything after that. I kind of stepped out away from my PS4 for a little bit, catch my breath. And then I play against Rodney, the best Akira in America. And yeah, I mean, this was closer than I thought it would be. But it was still a 2-0. I still lost, and this is where I leave the tournament. But
Round 1. Ready, go!
It's still pretty cool. So he runs up and throws. That was very smart on his part. Down attack, very good. So I'm like, I'm afraid to get up with like a wake up kick because he's gonna counter it and he's gonna elbow me to death. Gets me with the body check, 4-6P plus K, and then a forward throw comes out. Okay, so Rodney right now is in control.
Round 2.
Again, one of the best. He's one of the best Virtua Fighter players in American history. So I backdash. Okay, so maybe that's not a good situation to do all the time, but I figured he would try to run up and either guard break or do something, not quite a throw, or maybe he would even try to throw, but I figured he would step in a little bit. So I backdash in 4-4K and I catch him. But then he guesses right on my Oki and knocks me down, so he puts me back in a disadvantage. So I'm trying not to sidestep too much, but I can't really help it. If I'm moving, then I... Like, if I'm moving, I don't want to stop.
Knockout.
So I duck at the very last second, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be a low attack or if he was just going to get up.
Ready, go.
But it hit me anyway. So I sidestepped the 4-6P plus K plus G. I was poking a little bit. I go for the side collapse, but it didn't work. So I figured he wasn't going to get up after that. So I didn't. Oh my God. Well, okay. So he does a body. Oh, don't bust a Twitch. Thank you so much for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm doing a bit of a review tonight of my, before I go to bed, I'm doing a review of my play in the tournament that I was in last night for the Dreamhack tournament. Playing against the, this is where I end up losing, but I'm playing against the best Akira in America. One of the best Virtua Fighter players in American history, Rodnuts. Catches me there with the forward throw again. I try to go 8K again because I don't know what I'm doing there. Good low block from Rodney. I just throw the 6PP out. Okay, so he doesn't shake the stagger. And then for whatever reason, I try to do the 8K again, which I got to cut that shit out too, because that doesn't work against players like Rodney. It doesn't work against you, Crazy Drunk. It doesn't work against Denkai or GT. It's not going to work against any guy that has been playing for a very long time at a high level. So I'm down one game, but I'm still feeling cool, you know. I'm thinking I'm in the top 8. I'm okay. I mean, I'm actually a little higher than that. I end up losing. When I lose, I'm like tied for 5th. Oh, that was weird. So that little side switch happens sometimes on 9P Oki. Back turn throw, and I get hit. I didn't think that would work, but it somehow did. I figured because I was I was on his side, and I figured he would have pushed a button or something, and it caught him. Gets me with the forward throw again.
Ready, go.
So he sidesteps the right direction there. So I saw that 2K didn't hit him. 2K is minus 15, I believe. So that's not even a safe move to begin with. But I'm pretty lucky that he didn't punish it. So he blocks the second low, doesn't get a good punish out of it though. That second low is minus 18. If he could do 3-3P up. Yeah, 2K. I think 2K is like minus 15 or minus 13 on block or something like that. And my 2KK is like minus 18. So Rod could have launched it. But it's okay. In the situation, you're not always going to get the punishes, especially online. So I get hit with his Oki setup, which is, you know, there's nothing to say about that. He's just a much better player. I figured he was going to step again, so I go for the full circular low. Oh, God. PK punish. So I don't think anybody can punish 2K. Most are just waiting for the second hit. I think, okay, so in a practical sense, okay, yeah, in a practical sense, they can't just go in and do anything about it. If they want to not die, one of the two moves. Okay. Yeah, so I think the safest response is, now if you get counter hit, then I don't think there's anything you can do about it. But if you get normal hit, you could still block the second hit. So duck immediately. If you see the move, duck immediately. Best case they stop and they're minus like 13, but you're not, or they're minus whatever, but you're not getting hit. Like you're not getting knocked down. But best case scenario for that they do the 2K plus G without hit confirming, which is what I do way too much. That's something I gotta iron. I should honestly just take the move out of my game plan. Just take it out entirely because it's bad. Like the 2K plus G, I shouldn't even do it ever. But in any case, it's best in situations where you know they're gonna sidestep, they're gonna fail evade, and you major counter them. So then the 2K plus G is guaranteed. But best case, you duck that second hit and you whiff punish them with a launcher. And that's why I should honestly take it out of my game, because I get caught with it a lot and I get launched and then I eat, there goes a third of my health bar.
Go!
I don't even know what I was trying to do there. I was just kind of dicking around. I was just trying to see what I could get away with there. That was a missed input, the K plus G standing. That was, look, see, I don't know if that was a meaty. I don't know if that was a meaty, but I did connect him. I did connect with it, which I'm pretty happy about, because I like that. I sidestepped the wrong way. Fuzzy under his throw, which is good.
Knockout!
So right now I'm trying to I was just trying to move and possibly catch him in a down situation where I could make him guess if it's a low or a mid. I hate that move as a Shin player. Yeah, because it takes out 2 drinks, doesn't it? Something like that. Alright, and then rewind it a little bit. Catches me with the forward throw again. Gets me with the jump kick. Very smart. Very smart. I catch him with that second hit. He gets me with the elbow, and then he waits. Okay, so this is a testament to just how fucking amazing Rodney is. He waits just the split second, because I do fuzzy. I do throw a fuzzy in there, thinking he's gonna do a grab or something. He waits just a little tiny bit and guard breaks me the second I stand back up. And then he combos me into the wall. What a fucking phenomenal player Rodney is. Seriously, I respect the hell out of him. I grew up watching, like when I started watching American players, like he was one of the first players I learned about watching competitive VF in the United States. And like just it's amazing. It's amazing how strong of a player he is. I'm happy to have played him in this tournament. Hopefully someday. Am I saying he's old, but I'm not young either, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with being old. He's been alive longer than I have. And with that, he's definitely played a lot longer. He's earned his reputation as the best Akira in America. I'm a huge fan of his, and I'm honored to have played him. Hopefully someday the results will be different. But I just got to keep pushing. The commentators, Tricky and Shadosha, I'm glad that they were giving me a lot of support throughout the event. I appreciate all their input they've given me. I appreciate everybody's input from this community, honestly. I'm so blessed to be in a community where like just about everybody is helpful. Like even the like players that you'd think like, oh, I'm not going to approach them because they're a billion times better than me. They'll give you advice. If you just ask them for advice, they'll give you advice. That's incredible. Like, but I know Tricky and Shadosha were saying something like Dom plays pretty well. He's fueled by like his passion, and if he's a momentum player, and if he's on a roll, he's better. If he's not, it could affect him. But they were also saying something like it comes to the point where he's consistently doing well, but then he runs into the killers, and then that's where it stops. I want to get to the point where I want to fix my fundamentals to the point where I can actually make the top players sweat, or I can actually make them think more about what they're going to do, or just not just get caught by some of the stuff they're just throwing out there to see what happens. Like playing it safer. I want to be harder to figure out for them as well. I know when I play against you, Crazy Drunk, it's like it's crazy. I just my head spins. I just don't know what to do. Um, I get overwhelmed, but you're again one of the strongest players in America as well. Definitely the strongest Shun player, and hopefully, I'm gonna keep working at my fundamentals. I'm gonna keep working at situations where I'm not just doing things, like I actually have a purpose for some things that I do. Because for the most part, I throw stuff out to see what's gonna hit. I should play a little bit more reactive at times. Um, my propensity to move around too much hurts me, and I really shouldn't do that either. But I'll have to iron this out. Overall, I'm very pleased with how I played. Very pleased. I'm really glad that this happened. I'm glad that I didn't freak out. And honestly, I'm pretty surprised at myself for the kind of composure that I had. Because honestly, I really didn't start sweating until like I didn't start getting like angry and fueled by my emotion until I played against Black Belt Spartan. Like even against Chief Flash, like Chief Flash was like handling me in game 3, like games 2 and 3, he was just giving me the business. But I was still like, but it's Chief Flash. This guy's a legend. It's I'm not losing to stuff that is like telegraphed. He knows what he's doing. So it's like it didn't really start to get into my own head until I didn't start to get into my own head until it was against Spartan. But that's because of my emotion towards him. Like I was not a fan of him. I'm still not a fan of playing against him, but that's not up to me. You have to play whoever you're in front of. Not sure what else to say. I will upload this raw recording to my YouTube. I'm going to unlist it, but I will post the link when I upload this to YouTube. And I have to edit it though. I have to block out my personal information because I show on screen my connection. I know people were giving me, like, people in the chat were saying like, oh, is he playing on Wi-Fi? Is he playing on Wi-Fi? And I'm like, I don't know why that bothered me, but I was like, I got to show them the connection. But it's whatever. It's fine. I do play on wired. In fact, I didn't stream last night because I didn't want to add lag to the experience. I didn't want the latency to be any worse than it had to be. Because the netcode is already not great. But I'm getting a little rambly. I apologize, but thanks again, guys, for watching. I do appreciate you guys sticking around and giving me all your advice and all this stuff, and for watching my streams, honestly. I really haven't started Twitch until, I really haven't started taking Twitch seriously until I was already well into VF again. And since then, I've gotten a lot of followers. I've gotten almost 100 followers. I'm in Pennsylvania, so I'm in Lackawanna County, which is in northeast corner of Pennsylvania. It's about 2 hours away from New York. Like Brooklyn. It's about 2.5 hours from Brooklyn, if that helps. The specific town I'm in, I'm like a half hour from Scranton, PA. And about 2.5 hours from Philly. But yeah, it's weird. If I'm playing people closer to me, the connection is, if there's even a little bit of a lag, it spikes worse for some reason. Maybe that's just because of relay servers. I don't know if they do player to player or point to point. I don't know if they do any of that. I don't know if it's relay. Oh no, I think it's still player to player. I'm not sure, but for whatever reason, I struggle with people closer to me. more often than not. I'm okay with cross country connections for some reason. Like for the most part, I played against Young 2D, and the connection was all over the place. Um, he was destroying me. That's not related to the connection. He's just a much better player, but it's a weird thing. But anyway, yeah, I will upload this VOD because it's mostly just dead space. It's mostly just replays from the main menu and a little bit of training, dicking around. But I'm gonna upload it for the sake of prosperity because it has some matches in there that weren't aired in the tournament stream, specifically against Radio Bread and Watch the Armory, aka Pretty Boy Jackal. But thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you all stay safe. COVID is still a thing. If you're vaccinated, awesome. If you're not, please get vaccinated. Please consider it. This shit's getting real again, and it's terrible. I don't want anybody to go through that. Otherwise, stay healthy. I love you guys, and yeah, take care and have a good night.